you didn't. Yeah, basically advice. Yeah. So the next question is, so this is the question that I wanted to ask the most, I was most curious about. So what's your formula? Meaning, how exactly do you maintain being a working woman to basically balance career and family goals both at the same time? How do you do that?
Oh my God, Om is asking all big, big questions. All tough questions. But these are not tough for me, but I'm so excited to listen from you these questions basically. Yes, Om, this is huge for you. Again, I am not sure if you would really understand the response that I would really give you, because maybe your mom or anybody of the mommy times, kind of any person who deal with kids and all that will really agree how challenging it is with balancing family and the career. When you stick on that, you'll have to balance. You'll balance. That's one point. And number two, of late, there are a lot of changes in the women have evolved into a different structure altogether nowadays, because gone are those days where people had been sticking onto the kitchen and all that, but now we see a lot of women in various domains, various areas, working people, all are career oriented and all that. So the universe itself has pulled many women to become goal oriented, career oriented. Huh? So and we obviously will have to kind of balance, because anything in the family, there are exceptions, but still most often this will happen in most of the household. Anything that is not happening, anything that is not in front of the eyes, mommy, where is it? Yeah, we all say this. We look at for the women in the family. We seek their help, and that's how we've been coming up all through these centuries, in terms of mm, going out, reaching out to the woman in the family. So doesn't mean, I'm not talking about men versus women at all here. Okay, I'm not talking about that, because there are exceptions also. As I said, there are exceptions, but still we reach out to the women in the family. And end of the day, we will have to kind of multitask, take care of a lot of things. Same way it is for me also. Just like you and your brother, I also, I also have two brats, who's there at home all these while, bullying me and all that. So my profile had been, one few years have been into the, as an employee. I was working, and then I myself changed my career, and I had to take up the entrepreneurship role. That was a mere accident, I would say, because entrepreneurship is something that the bug will bite at any point in time. We don't know when this bug bites, and
Yeah.
this bug will bite. This entrepreneurship bug will bite depending on situations. And for me, yes, it actually was about taking care of the family, taking care of the kids, and my health and all these things. Thinking about several factors. So I started changing my profile and all that. End of the day, it is not just about my career. It is also about my kids' career. So I have three responsibilities altogether now. So when I'll have to go about for fulfilling these three responsibilities, I have to have even more, kind of superpower, which will, pull all of us, as to what we desire for. So, end of the day, it's all about prioritizing, planning, and executing. So what you do is some completely, about the decision that you make. So we'll have to balance.
Yeah, that's absolutely, that's your answer is actually pretty realistic. Basically, it shows in real situations. For example, the example you used, I've done it a lot of times. I can't see where my laptop or my phone is. I have to call my mom, and then in 2 seconds she'll be able to find it. I don't know how. So that was a great example that you gave. So the next question is so please do tell us about this basically if you can about the most difficult or challenging incident as a professional, and how did you basically overcome that particular or specific challenge?
Okay. Challenges, yes, as I told you, challenges are there here and there for everybody. It comes in different formats. It is there, when you're not ready to handle, it will obviously hit you hard. So, how you deal with challenges, what is are very important, if you ask me. So the attitude that you have when something is not working out for you, and you design something, and something else happens. All these are challenges, right? So how you face it is what is important. Okay. One will not we should not be at that point in time pulling off our energy, pulling off our spirits. Okay. One, the same pace at at the time when we started should prevail. So that is number one. Number two, what next kind of an attitude. We all kind of get struck when something is not happening, right? So that attitude has to be changed. We'll have to look about the next options as to what next. So there is a statement also: if plan A doesn't work, don't worry, you have 26 alphabets altogether. So go till plan Z, nothing wrong. So that way, what next kind of an attitude is very important. And number three, I learned this very important aspect: begin with the end in the mind. Okay. So you'll have to look at the output. I mean, the end result is what should be in your mind when it comes to doing a work. It could be any task, it could be any work. Okay. But you'll have to be very passionate about the end result. So when you have that end result, all these challenges will kind of disappear by the way you do the work.
Yeah, that's an absolutely great answer. So the next question, I'm just like that family question, I'm very curious about. Even though the situation is very unlikely, I still want to know. So if you get like a time machine, so what stage of your life would you want to go back to? Like specifically, what stage? Would
uh, Time machine. Of course, I never thought about this, Om. Frankly, people say I want to go back to the school times. I want to go back to the college times, because every phase in life have taught a lot of things. Okay, it's more of a journey. From the time we know ourselves, okay, and from the time where we are today, there are a lot of phases in life. There are a lot of memories that keep lingering in your mind. But never in my mind I thought I should go back to this phase in life, and I will have to enjoy that way. But if at all, if this question is asked, probably this is the first time that I'm facing this question. Uh, Probably, I would say one answer, that is definitely not to impress you, because I'm going to talk about your father at this point in time. Okay. Definitely not to impress you. Because he very well knows about me. That he is one person who is very close to my heart. Okay. Even though we don't speak much, he's a person very close to my heart. And it's vice versa also, the bonding that we share and all that. uh, the period that I was there with him, as a subordinate, he was my first boss basically. So the times were like amazing. Those were the times where I learned lot of things. Okay. So those learnings are what I am incorporating even today, and I would be incorporating in the future also. So those foundational blocks that had been set to me in my life by the situations and the circumstances, he was one important player on that scenario. Yeah. So probably I would go back and kind of you know be there with your father, where the learnings were kind of abundant, The love that he showed was like abundant. I i till now I cannot forget those moments that were with him, though he the boss subordinate was a relationship that we shared professionally, but it was more of a father daughter connect that we had shared. So I would say that. And probably I am telling this because I'm kind of exaggerating this here, because it is about your father. And if it is in any other interview, I would have said about this person who had been like this and like that and all that. But yes, in fact, in 2017, 18, in one magazine also, when I had given an interview, I would have mentioned about his name also. So it is not about it is not about it is your interview. It is always there. So probably I would say that.
That's absolutely great to hear. Sure, my dad will be very happy to hear this when he sees this recording. So now this question I want to ask you. So this is in regards to one of the questions I asked previously. Now, how did you exactly basically build your confidence and courage to basically start your company and basically to do all the things that you've achieved? How did you manage to build your confidence and courage? What exactly did you do?
Okay. Great. So I would always say this: necessity is the mother of invention. Okay. Whatever you would try to discover in life, invent in life, or bring about any change, anything of that sort, it is all about the need. Yeah, the flair for it. So that need is what has pulled me. The pain is what you know the driving factor for me. So as I told you, been working in the corporate and all that, then I had to kind of change my profile. uh, so I am not a very passionate business entrepreneur and all that. Okay, like for few people, entrepreneurship would be there in their blood. They really want to become entrepreneurs and all that. For me, it was the knowledge was 0%, and the intention was also 0%. I wouldn't say, oh no, I wanted to become an entrepreneur. Nothing of that sort. I never had this dream of becoming an entrepreneur and all that. But yes, sometimes in life we'll have to kind of change the paths. But I mean, you have a destination, but still you'll have to take some different routes. That happened in my life. But the courage, as you asked, it all comes from what we face, what we encounter. Okay, there's a saying like when people throw lemon at you, make it a lemonade. So same way, life will give you not just lemons. Life will give you apple. Life will give you mangoes. Life will give you all different fruits and vegetables. So try to do lemonades. I try to do milkshakes. Try to do salads, and do whatever is possible for you and whatever is feasible for you, so that you keep going. So that this mantra I always have in me.
That's absolutely fantastic. And I think that's probably the main reason why you're so confident and very energetic when you're speaking to me and answering all my questions. So now my next question is do you have any future goals, like for the next 10 years? What are your new goals that you want to achieve in the next 10 years?
Amazing. Yes, as I told, it is all about the goal setting that we will have to do. So for any person of that matter, it is about the yardsticks with which we keep on moving from one point in life to another. Same way, having started the organizations, I really want to make it a little more wider, expanded. As I told you, would love to transform, uh, you know, so many number of people, because my work towards this training or transformation, confidence, whatever strings you talk about when it comes to my profile, my my focus would be more on this youngsters. So I prefer working with youngsters also. So that way, when you said about the interview and all that, I was even more, kind of overwhelmed, because as a child, you transformed yourself as now as a youngster. And I thought, oh my God, this interview is going to be, kind of more sharing. And now you are in a situation where you can, really understand what I speak and all that. So same way, where my kids are like, looking at me, and they're kind of being with me, and they understand certain things even without I talk to them. Okay, they are in that age group also. But for you, it is like, more that you can understand what I speak now. So on that note, I prefer working with youngsters. And I also have a bunch of youngsters who work with me. We have a kind of a leadership forum where, I mentor a lot of people, a lot of youngsters. So that is all there. So on that note, I would love to be more with youngsters, transform so many, future leaders, to really highly, spirited mindsets and actions. And at the same time, on the social organization stuff, we really want to bring about an inclusive India. That's our tagline also. Let's together build an inclusive India. Not many places are all accessible. Okay, if you see, I go on my wheelchair. Okay, so not many places are kind of, ram. It has ramps, or it has lifts and all that. There are a lot of, I'm just talking only about this wheelchair, but there are a lot of disabilities. There are a lot of accessibility challenges that, people face also. So that not just about the accessibility, but also, as I told you, the attitude that people have, or even, the blocks, the mental blocks that people with disabilities also have. So, breaking down all that, and bringing on an inclusive society is another, vision of us. So I would say both of these things are what I'm planning for. I'm expanding. I'm trying to expand that in terms of, next few years and all that.
Yeah, that's absolutely great to hear. Since I heard this quote from somewhere, so basically, youngsters are the future of tomorrow. So that's basically youngsters are the leaders of tomorrow. So that's why it's a really great idea to train them, since that will basically leave a mark on the future. So that's a really great goal to try to achieve in the future. So now this question I'm basically just really intrigued about. You're basically focusing on your PhD, right? Basically you're doing your PhD. So can you like talk about it? Like what exactly is it? Because I want to know.
Okay. Actually, I have already almost completed it. Just that, the publications, what was, were pending, actually. I've completed my thesis long back also. This is about, equal employment opportunity for the differently abled class. See, somewhere, when I had my first kid, delivered, by that time I was kind of, kind of, focusing on my kid, not on the career, but more on the family and all that. So by the time when I was literally, yeah, working towards my kids, birth and all that, after this delivery, I really wanted to, do something, because I am not kind of working. I'm not kind of working on my career and all that. All these things are popping up. And the first thing that I did was applying PhD. So I wanted to study immediately, because I prefer, studying, not about reading. As I studying. If you say there's a course, that's there, and if you see, that if at all you suggest, this is going to add up, my career, my profile, basically, I would immediately, opt for it. So that kind of a person I am. So I prefer studying. I prefer writing. I prefer, giving importance to literacy and all that. So that way I immediately opted for it. But yes, I wanted to, bring about a different topic. So I thought this, equal employment opportunity for the differently abled class. How far people are able to get placed, differently able people are able to get placed, get employed. How organizations are welcoming and all that. So this is a thing that I wanted to really study, and that's all been done. That's completely kind of over. That publications are kind of here and there. The university requirements are all kind of there, and I'm on the verge of completing this. So this is about my PhD.
That's really nice to hear that you're about to complete your PhD. So, and that brings us to the end of the interview. So, thank you so much for taking your time out and answering these questions, Raghavi ma'am. Miles to go. So, all the best for your future endeavors. And dear viewers, thank you for watching Goodness Everywhere and stay tuned for the next interview.